Northwest Liberty News, picking the lock on the shackles of tyranny.
Machines are gonna fail, and the system's gonna fail.
The past is past, the future's now.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Sometimes trouble just follows a man.
There is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what it is? A virus.
Can't you stop your lips from flapping for 2 little minutes?
It's because I'm white.
I'm a man. I'm sensitive. I need to feel loved. I need to be desired.
I'm rapidly becoming a big underground success in this town.
It's a question of methods. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants to do what they have to do to get them done.
And now, coming to you live from Kalispell, Montana, brought to you by Northwest Liberty News, it's Montana Gazette Radio with your host, James White. Okay, I am indeed your host, James White, and this is Montana Gazette Radio. Thanks for joining me here on this 14th day of December 2020, and probably the craziest year I've ever known in my lifetime. And it is the only good thing about 2020 is it's only got about, 16, 17 days left, which is a good thing. As I've said before, I don't usually stay up and watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve, but I may this year because I just want to not necessarily see 2021 come in, but 2020, you get out of here. We're had enough. Some stuff that's going on here this weekend, folks. If you haven't been following the news, we're seeing a flood of information come out. I'm going to cover some of that stuff here in just a moment with some news clips and some images that I've taken from some Twitter feeds. This is all coming out now. What in my view, what we're in preparation for right now. We're prepping up for the execution of the Trump executive order that specifically addressed the foreign intervention in the voting system. I think at this point, it's a foregone conclusion that there has been some serious shenanigans going on. I'm understanding here now, by the time that I've actually been trying to get everything ready for the show, and now I understand that the Michigan, the judge there granted the request for the results, and I want to say the percentages were just off of the charts. Maybe the error rate, and I know this is going to sound, I just glanced at it briefly. If anyone can see it, like I said, I've been really trying to work in and putting all this stuff together here for the last 45 minutes or so. It's recent breaking news. Apparently, the error rate is, let's say, 1 or 2%, and this apparently was like up in the 600% error rate that was going on there in Michigan. And again, I just briefly glanced at that as I was kind of going through the news and getting everything ready. So here's basically, let me boil it down to you here, if I can, and then we'll go over some specifics. But what we have here right now is this is World War III. Essentially, this is World War III right now with China. This war is not necessarily like the other wars where yet there's troops on the ground firing bullets and mortars back and forth, as I said, yet, and then we're going to cover some of that stuff here, the potential for that here just in a little bit later on in the show. First of all, thanks for joining me here. If everything's working properly, we're broadcasting live here out of Kalispell, Montana. If everything's working properly, we should be on a variety of different platforms, including Podbean, including a couple of YouTube channels. The other backup YouTube channel is called Critical Disclosure. You can go there. It should be broadcasting live on there. It's also broadcasting live on the Northwest Liberty News Facebook page and the Montana Daily Gazette Facebook page. Also on DLive and Periscope and other places. So we're trying to do our best to get the word out there because they're, of course, clamping down on all platforms. YouTube and all Google services were down earlier today for a period of time. Were they upgrading their algorithms? Who knows? I do believe we're going to have a time where we are going to be not able to communicate. We're not going to be able to communicate properly. And there's a program here that was given to me, that was told to me by a good friend of mine. See if I can give it to you. If you have a smartphone, the name of this app is Voxer, Voxer. So it's Voxer. And that is apparently a sort of a walkie-talkie type setup where if things go down, you can still communicate and leave like voice messages on the phone and send those across. So I know, folks, and the reason I'm doing this broadcast today is I've had numerous people contact me. I've had people go out to take me out to breakfast and express some concern about some things and want me to actually, and I won't mention any names, but they wanted me to actually do to get 100 people together here at the local hotel and have me do a sort of a speech, or I guess a presentation on it. And I just said, I'll just do this video. This is what I'll do. Then I'll be able to leverage that much more. It'll hopefully reach much more than 100 people. Of course, with YouTube, who knows? But what I'm going to do is, I don't have all the answers. I'm an analyst. They don't. Again, I'm not in the circle of folks that consult with President Trump. But I'm going to give you my best analysis of what I think's going on. And essentially, as I stated before, we're in World War III with China and others. Apparently now it looks like the Canadian government has sided with the Chinese Communist Party, and they are doing exercises there, and they're doing exercises there in Canada, which of course should worry anybody that is along the northern border of the United States, because it's fairly porous. Generally speaking, there's certainly no wall in the northern border that I know of. There's been reports of Chinese troops, marching and doing trainings not very far from the U.S. border. I think it was Steve Quayle and others reported here a couple of days ago. This plane that went down in Michigan was shot down by the Chinese, and subsequently there was a bunker buster bomb that was dropped. Again, I don't have any independent, confirmation of that other than Steve Quayle was reported that on his show, and I think others did as well. So, let me touch on that if I can, for a quick second about the directed energy weapons. Let me bring up this right here. I think this will bring up. Okay. So if you go on Northwest Liberty News and you see, this is a video on Northwest Liberty News. It's called, "Did Burned Out California Homes All Have Smart Meters in Common?" Now, as you can see, this was back in December 18, 55,000 views. This is my channel, so it just gives you an idea of how bad they've been hammering me. At any rate, that's not the point. If you go here and you watch this video with Paul Preston, you'll see where he was in the fires there in 2018, and we talked about that type of thing, specifically about the smart meters. He'd had friends in the neighborhood who all the houses burned down except his friend's house, who had disconnected the smart meter. I mean, just type it in again. Did burned out California homes all have smart meters in common? You can see that on Northwest Liberty News. Is that what they're doing? Are they using directed energy weapons? I don't know. You see some of those cars that just melt down. Some of the cars that melt right down to the ground, and the tires and the rims are melting. I mean, look at some of those photos of what happened in some of those fires. How in the world you tell me, folks? I mean, don't believe me, just look up the video. You tell me how in California there were homes. Every home on the street was burned down to the ground, but the trees that were like around the house weren't burned down. They're still standing. Trees, not very far from the homes that burned. I mean, I'm talking burned down to the ground, where they burned down like the motors and the refrigerators and everything. I mean, they burned this thing down to slagged it. Not the trees surrounding the property. They were untouched. But basically, essentially, how does that happen? You explain that. I mean, raging fire rips through a neighborhood and burns every house down. but the trees remain standing. I mean, folks, you have to understand, we've been just bamboozled at the highest levels. Nothing that you think you believe it to be true when it comes from the government that you see is true. I mean, that's how bad it is. It's all a fraud. It's all a con. We've been conned and conned and conned and conned again. That is just one example. Now let's let me see what I want to bring up here first. Okay, so here is the big news that I think pretty much kicked this whole Chinese thing off here, and put it in the main news. It was this breaking news yesterday. Is that it right there? A couple days ago, was it? Major leak exposed the Chinese Communist members working inside Western companies. Now, they're in the Matrix was sending me texts in the Matrix from the actually radio show in the Matrix, and the guy in the Matrix, I've had him on my show before. Right now he's broadcasting on Red State Talk Radio. He was sending me the translations because all these lists were all in Chinese. But there's a whole database that has right here. If you click the database, click this button, you can go to the database and you can see all of the people that are involved in the Chinese Communist Party. Now, they found out that I want to say 56,000 Americans were in the Chinese Communist Party. Some of these people, if they swore allegiance to the Communist Chinese Party, obviously this doesn't apply. But some of these people probably had relationships and maybe didn't realize that they were dealing with Chinese communists. But that's a different story than actively becoming a member of the Chinese Communist Party. That is right there. But you can't claim to be an American citizen and a member of the Chinese Communist Party at the same time. We know this, right? I mean, I know that school has really, really done a fantastic job of dumbing us down, but it's not that bad yet, I don't think. I think we realize that you can't consider yourself an American citizen and then be a member of the Chinese Communist Party. You can't have it both ways. Now, is that treason? I mean, is that sedition? I don't pretend to know the exact specific, or there may be other, federal crimes that are associated with that. But it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, and that is an understatement. That is an understatement to say that. These people are infiltrators. And, again, I've talked about QAnon on this broadcast before, and I've said it doesn't really matter if QAnon is real or not real. Of course it's real because it puts out QAnon puts out posts and people research it and study it. The information that's on there that people have researched and the stuff that has been discovered just because the worldwide movement is now looking into some of the stuff. I mean, I have people calling me and talking to me about adrenochrome that I never would ever even believe they would even ever spoken that word. Never even spoken that word, calling me, hey, what's this adrenochrome thing? Like, what? Who is this? Seriously, something is, this is the great awakening that's going on right now. And, I've been very frustrated along with a lot of other people that things didn't happen sooner. People didn't get arrested sooner. And it dawned on me. And as you go through, you realize, we all live in sort of our own kind of a bubble in a sense, right? I mean, the people that I associate with generally, personally, are other people that are awake. Now, when I do a radio show, who knows who watches it, right? I have no clue. I mean, it could be any people that can tune in can watch it. We know this. But the people that I generally talk to and associate with, are like-minded, like we all are, right? Like we all do. Pretty much we hang around, generally, people that are like us. So the group that I associate with are awake. So, it's hard for me sometimes to realize that there's a whole other giant group of people, the majority, that don't have that type of knowledge or haven't been red-pilled, if you will. Now, this is going faster than ever, right? It's happening now quickly. But the reason that things had to be delayed and painfully to a lot of us, painfully to watch these things happen It had to happen this way because people had to come to the realization themselves. I mean, think about what would happen if President Trump would have got inaugurated in 2017, and then the next day would have arrested Hillary Clinton and all the cronies. What do you think would have happened? I mean, they would have called him a dictator. He's Hitler. He would have lived up to everything that they claimed that he was. It's a much wiser move to expose the criminals and have those same people that would have been carrying, torches and pitchforks be the ones going, "Hey, we want these criminals out of power because they've disenfranchised every one of us." And understand, folks, when they steal your vote and they disenfranchise, any like 10,000 voters in Michigan, it affects all of us, right? It's a nationwide vote for the president of the United States specifically. And if somebody disenfranchises you in another state and doesn't follow the constitutional principles, well, then that minimizes and diminishes your vote in your state that has done things constitutionally and properly. So again, I'm not an attorney, don't claim to be one. All I know is the truth is beginning to come out, and it's coming out at a point now where it's almost impossible to keep up. The mainstream media is going to have to, well, they're already reporting, of course, on the Hunter Biden laptop, and that is going to really tick a whole lot of people off when they find out that, you mean you knew about this before the election and you didn't report it? And here I go voting for Biden and not really realizing that he's, a Class A felon in Ukraine. Wanted, I think, is a Class A felon in Ukraine. That's just the minor, probably. That's just the Ukraine charges. Forget about what's going on here in America. He's, the Biden family, it appears, allegedly, are a crime family. That's what it seems like. And Joe Biden is the big guy. That's what it appears to be. We'll see what happens. So we had this big news come out here about the Chinese leak exposed. Then we have, not very long after that, I think, was it the next day, a little bit later on in the afternoon, I believe. This is from Reuters. U.S. Treasury breached by hackers backed by foreign government. So we've got the leak exposes Chinese members working inside Western companies, and the Treasury breach by hackers backed by foreign governments right after as a follow-up story, pretty close to each other. So again, believe QAnon or don't believe QAnon, one of the things that QAnon would put out was C before D, and I think, generally speaking, people thought that was Comey before. I don't know who the second person was, but it's not. I don't think it's Comey at all. I think what we're finding out now is the C before D means China before D class. Again, there's plenty of people that do QAnon stuff that are way better than me, and I probably should give them credit if I remembered who I had read that from. But that's what I think it is as well. I've read some of the posts, a lot of the posts, probably all of them, but I'm not the guy that analyzes them like some people do that do a much better job than me at that. At any rate, C before D, I believe, means China before D class. So we would think now that the D class probably can't be very far behind. So let me go here and get back to, I want to talk about this real quick. Dan Scavino, who's inside Trump's inner circle. Let me see, is this the right button? So I don't know if you've seen the photo right there. That's, of course, an eagle. And it's landing, it's on ice. Eagle is on ice. That's the way I take that photo. The eagle is on ice. And I guess you could say he's looking for fish under there, but I don't see like a hole in the ice where where the eagle could grab the fish. But I interpret this as eagle on ice. Now, if you look here, what was Bill Clinton's Secret Service name? Eagle. Hillary Clinton's was Evergreen. Chelsea Clinton's was Energy. Eagle. Bill Clinton. Eagle on ice. Does that mean on ice what we think on ice means? Don't know. It's just one interpretation, perhaps. Perhaps that means Bill Clinton is swimming with the fishes, to use the Godfather terminology. Again, don't know. They don't tell me. It all it is a picture from Dan Scavino, who is one of the, as I said, one of Trump's inner circles, Donald Trump's inner circle. So he sent that out, and I'll leave that up to you to interpret what that means on your own there. All right, let's go back here to this. Okay, judge in Michigan lifts the ban on 22 Dominion servers. CISA Directive 2101 orders all agencies to disconnect power and power down solar, wind, Orion products immediately. So they found this solar wind products, and I believe I have other, here's from General Flynn. This means that the U.S. solar winds products is 100% compromised across the USG, United States government, likely China with a backdoor to every department, agency, and activity in the United States government. Not good. Real Donald Trump, this is a grave national security threat, especially at this moment. Demand answers ASAP. No, you will. So all this stuff that's going on here, in my view, is setting up the execution of that executive order from 2018. What is it, November 12th, maybe? December 12th? Anyway, it was executive order from 2018 that specifically covers the election fraud. Understand, folks, when you have a foreign government that has already infiltrated your country, and now they're trying to steal your election, this is a military issue. We're in a World War III, essentially, with China. Again, no one's lobbing bombs just yet. No one's lobbing bombs just yet, or shooting. Well, I guess they dropped a bomb. Like I said, apparently, I'm going to say it was in Maine, maybe. They dropped a 50-pound Buster bomb and killed, or not 50-pound, but they dropped a Buster bomb and killed 50,000 Chinese soldiers, is what the report is. Again, I haven't had any independent confirmation of that. It's just, there's so much going on. It's just for crying out loud. You just can't cover everything. It's a flood. It's a flood of information. I mean, this stuff's coming out so fast, it's practically impossible to keep up. And you're not going to get anything from the mainstream news. And the thing with the search engines is you search on even Start Page or DuckDuckGo or anything, and the first 6 pages are like all alternative, or 8 pages. I mean, they bury stuff. I mean, it's practically impossible to find out any information by design. This is all part of the war. This is the cyber part of the war. Now, think about it. If China, what it essentially means is China can, if this all pans out, which that's not going to, but theoretically speaking, if Joe Biden would end up becoming president, we can already see the writing on the wall now. He'll have to step down pretty much immediately, probably, or if very close, because of all the trial or the court the charges are going to be brought against them, right? If they can pull that off, do you realize that China has basically overtaken the United States and not even fired a shot? Do you understand the turmoil between people fighting each other inside the country is the advantage of the enemy. This is to the enemy's advantage, right? Discord, dissent, civil war. And we are in a de facto civil war as well. We talked about civil war before, and I did a show. I covered it on a show. Now, we do have 2 government agencies. That's part of if I remember correctly from the definition of a civil war, it's not necessarily just the people fighting against each other. It's agencies within the government taking sides as well, like the military against the CIA. That is technically, I guess, by the Webster Dictionary definition, a civil war. So we are in a de facto civil war right now. Again, it's not like the previous wars, right? I mean, China didn't have to invade the United States with troops. They owned all the voting machines, and they manipulated all the data. And they bought off all the people that were in charge of making sure that things were fair and honest. They bribed them. Just good old-fashioned bribed them. That's all. Then you got then you got Zuckerberg giving what, $650 million to the vote, assist the vote. Really assist the vote. Yeah, assist the fraud, assist the scam, assist the steal is what it was. Right? This is an infiltration and a Chinese invasion is what it is. So that's pretty much what has happened. So I'm going to take a quick break here and then come back on the other side. We're going to talk about what I think is going to be coming up this week, what things are going to look like. I've got a lot of questions about martial law. What's going to happen? Am I going to be able to go to the grocery store? Can I walk my dog? That type of stuff. Now, again, I don't pretend to be an expert on this stuff, but I know that there are a couple different kinds of martial law, and one's very harsh, and one is you work with the local law enforcement, and it's probably not so harsh. But there's no guarantee on anything. You give someone that kind of power. I mean, it's always done so, with trepidation. Certainly, it is. Is the vaccine coming? Are they going to be forcing vaccines? Nope, I don't think so. We'll talk about those and other things here. This is Montana Gazette Radio, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, MontanaGazetteRadio.com, or you can go to the flagship northwestlibertynews.com, and you can support our sponsors scrolling across the bottom, Morphine and Kalispell. You can visit our first sponsor here. We'll be back after these brief messages here on Montana Gazette Radio. I'm your host, James White. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility.
Have you heard of Protovite? The most common health concern today is poor digestive health. Unlike ordinary supplements, Protovite is a liquid multi-nutrient formula with patent-pending absorption technology. A published scientific study proves that Protovite is nutrition that gets in 100% of the time. Protovite uses the highest quality ingredients to rapidly nourish every cell in your body.
My name is Sandra. 6 weeks ago, when I started taking Protovite, I was on 14 medications, from everything for blood pressure to fibromyalgia. In the first 10 days, my blood sugar dropped 50 points, and my fibromyalgia pain is gone. And so was 12 of the 14 medications that I was taking.
Protovite, nutrition that gets in. Buy Protovite now.
Thank you, Protovite, for giving my life back.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Work with your doctor when taking medications. Make Protovite part of your healthy lifestyle.
Okay, folks, if you want to support the broadcast, you can do so by supporting the sponsors. You can go to bloodboost.net. That's bloodboost.net, and check out all the fine Protovite products there. And they're all formulated from the best quality ingredients. And you can, all the ingredients there, all the products, I should say, help boost your immune system. So check them out over at bloodboost.net. I'm going to be having, I talked to the food company. I'm going to be putting together some package deals here for large food orders, large packages. If you want to get some storable food for your family, going to be giving some nice discounts with free shipping. I talked to Janet, who does my web stuff for the food website, and she's going to be putting together a page for that, and I'll have that out here, I think, in the next day or two. Hopefully, that's the goal. And you too can store up. It's only 3 to 5 day shipping. So if you haven't got any storable food yet, and you want to do so and support this broadcast and get a nice discount with some free shipping, then just hold on here. It'll be in the next couple of days. We'll have that page all up and ready, and you can take advantage of that. If you want to support me otherwise, you can go to northwestlibertynews.com. That's northwestlibertynews.com, and click on the Support Independent News button there. And all that stuff all appears underneath all of the videos if you want to support me that way. All right, so let's move back into what's going on here. So, in my view, I think that Trump. If you look at what Trump tweets out and has tweeted out for a long time, he's tweeted out things like, "We caught them all. We have it all. This is all a big fraud." Now, like Trump or don't like Trump, I don't know if there's too many people that may be watching this broadcast that didn't, maybe. But he doesn't, typically when he makes these statements and says these things, he follows through on them, generally, and almost always. And another thing, too, look how often they've come after him, and they've tried to accuse him of this, accuse him of that, and all this. I mean, you remember the P documents, the Russian P hoax, where he apparently... they had confirmation or photos or something where he was in a Russian hotel room, and there was some, I don't know if they were peeing on him, he was peeing on, I don't even know. It was all a hoax anyway, who knows? But remember, I mean, just think about that. I mean, it's gotten worse and worse. How $40 million and what? How many 16, 17 prosecutors and how many months going after him for the for Russian thing? I mean, it was all, you never heard of China coming up, right? No, it's because China owns everything. I mean, there's Chinese Communist Party, I think over 100 Communist Party members in the 2 drug companies that are producing the vaccines. That's right. There's over 100, I think it's like 120 something. Again, if you look up, I'm going to put that page in the chat room, so you can link to all that stuff there. I don't know if you're going to be able to find. You'll have to search for the translation into English, and I think people are translating that now. But let me put this in the chat room here. There you go. Did that work? Yeah, it did. Okay, you can click there, and you can get to this page here. I just put that page in the chat room, so you can click on there, and you can click on the this database. Again, this is in Chinese, and if you can read Chinese, more power to you. Click on that, and you're good. Otherwise, they are as I stated, they are trying to translate those names right now. Who's going to show up on that list? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I have some guesses. But I don't know. Now let's look at, let me see, which do I want? Yeah, let's look here at this. So this is the friendly list of governors who are friendly to China. Now, if you don't remember, Mike Pompeo came out. I think he covered this on another news report. Mike Pompeo came out in a governor's meeting and said, "You Chinese have you all on a list." And they all have you categorized as if you're a hardliner, if you're a friendly, if you're, all these different categories of governors, meaning are they going to be cooperative with the Chinese Communist Party? And Pompeo sort of warned them, you need to be really careful with what you're doing. Did they listen? Well, who knows? Here is the list of friendlies from China, from the list of friendlies for the Chinese government, and they're ranked by score here. Obviously, the higher score being the most friendly. And you look down here for Montana, you got Steve Bullock, number 53. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's in the top 10. So he's the 9th most favorable governor, I believe, to the Chinese. Then you have these photos right here, where this is the Chinese ambassador with Steve Bullock and Steve Daines. Now, again, I'm not saying that because they take photographs with people that live in China or are here, as ambassadors, that they're Chinese spies. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I know is I would like to see that list. I would love to see that list of people, but after that list gets converted over to English, I would love to see the people that are on that list. Now, what's being set up here is Trump to come out, I believe, and claim, because of all the evidence that's been piling on now, we've got the voting machine fraud. We have the Chinese Communist Party members inside many Western institutions and governments. You have the breach of the U.S. Treasury system. You have the solar winds foreign interference, right? That's not to mention the voting machines, all of the different voting machines. And some of them are not even American companies. I don't think any of them are. One of them is a Canadian company and one of them is, I think, in Spain or something. Trump has a complete justification to come out and say our country has been infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party at all levels, including our legislature, including all three branches of government. I know proof hasn't come out of that yet, but I think time will tell. Has infiltrated all three branches of government, and they are in the process of trying to take over this country. We need to, and then he's going to execute his order, and there's going to be, I believe, a period of martial law. I think it's going to be the work with the local law authorities, martial law version. What's it going to look like? It could be, I think there could be some period of time where some things are down. Understand, these people are not going to go. People are not going to go quietly. They're not going to go quietly. Thankfully, I believe a lot of their management has been severely handicapped. So I don't know how organized they're going to be. I don't know how widespread it's going to be, but there's no doubt there's going to be, if you live in a densely populated area, especially a Democrat area they've been disarmed. The ones that we've seen in the news, right? New York, I suppose, Portland, Seattle, those type of places. You're going to likely see some unrest. You're likely going to see some unrest. How bad is it going to be and how long is it going to last? Don't know. There's way more of us than there is of them. When I say us, I mean law-abiding citizens that are firearm owners. Is it going to take us getting up off the couch to do something? Don't know. But if it does break out like that, if there is sort of battles in the streets and that type of a hot war, stay out of the way of the soldiers, of course, that are trying to battle these people. Is China going to invade the United States? I think it'd be a pretty bad thing for them to do, considering as well armed as we are. We have a lot of deer hunters in this country, and they're all expert marksmen, pretty much. A lot of them, most all of them are expert marksmen. So we don't want to go down that road. We don't want to go down the road. Although you want to defend your home, defend your family, defend your country, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, 100%. But we don't want to have to go down that road, like civil war, like hot civil war, when people get shot and dying in the streets and everything else that goes with it. This is not a good thing. They win. They win if that happens, right? They win if that happens. That's why I believe that this is going to be, and already is, sort of a military operation. You've seen, I did a show here, I don't know, a week ago, and showed all the flights. If you're not following Monkey Works, and I spelled his name wrong, it's WERX, Monkey Works, WERX. If you're not following Monkey Works, probably a good idea to do so. And if you look back some of his older videos, you can see, and not even very long ago, I saw where there was another 1,400 airplanes in the air. We've got people that we communicate with that live close to military bases that say that the amount of flights and everything that they hear going over our, way, way more than normal. So we know something's going on, folks. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Are we going to have to get involved physically? I suppose if you're in a town and these people come and these marauders come down your street, with Molotov cocktails, throwing them in people's homes, you may have to take defensive measures. Yeah, you may have to engage. Again, we hope that doesn't happen, but you have to be prepared for that. Especially if you live in some of these densely populated cities. And as I've said all along, many, many times in the past, it's not really the government. If something breaks down, it's not the government that you really have to worry about so much as it is your neighbors, right? That's really who you generally have to worry about more than anything, because a lot of times the cops, if it gets really bad, they're not gonna show up, or they're gonna go back to protecting their own family. A cop's not going to go on the road, drive around in a patrol car in a Mad Max scenario and leave his family at home to fend for themselves generally. I mean, he's not going to do that. They're going to be there protecting their own family. So, there could be a period of lawlessness. Even you see it now. I mean, there's lawlessness now, right? And now things are quote unquote relatively stable. But you look around to big cities, it's lawless. In some parts of New York, I think I've seen videos where people they'll walk up and shoot someone right in the street and just shoot them dead. They catch it on video, party star video. I saw two of them. One guy's walking across a crosswalk with his daughter. Guys pull up in a car, pull a gun out the window and shoot him dead right there, with his daughter, walking his daughter along, crossing a crosswalk, taking her to school or something. Right? Now, that's New York. That's certain parts of New York. Not all of New York. I mean, it's giant, right? The bad parts. The parts that some parts police don't probably even want to go into, I'm sure. Right? I mean, we could face lawlessness in some of these towns. You need to be prepared for that. And this isn't fear-mongering or trying to make anybody, scared or anything like that. Not at all. I mean, like I said, there's more of us than there is of them. All we have to do is come together. We just have to come together and be ready to stand up. A lot of times, if you notice back from the school days, what always was the good thing to do to the bully? To stand up to the bully. You stand up to the bully and you smash the bully in the mouth. They're not so much of a bully anymore. And that's the way that you have to think, right? We don't know what's going to be happening. I know in Mexico there has been some training facilities in Mexico. There's been training facilities in Canada for Chinese Communist Party. I don't know if, and others. I don't know if that is going to be a route that they're going to take. Don't know. But if I'm thinking about it, I'm sure that the people, the military is thinking about it. So I think this week, what's coming up this week, tonight, Joe Biden apparently is going to have a press conference, and he is going to announce that I think it's probably a follow-up to the states certifying the election in his favor. All that's sort of a smokescreen, right? Understand, anything that comes from the left or from the mainstream or from the Democrat Party, it's all lies and disinformation and propaganda. The truth is not in them. Okay, they can't win unless they lie. They can't get ahead unless they cheat. That's the way that they roll. This is not an accident. This is their plan. This is their program. This is their game plan. That's how they operate. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Again, all of this stuff coming out, they never wanted this information to be known. Do you think they really wanted the information to be known that they've likely stolen elections for years and years and years? And who knows, decades maybe? Do you think they want all that to come out? And they want the voting where there's 700,000 more votes than there are people? And on video, seeing the votes get switched and people taking suitcases full of votes and taking them over after people leave. And, this destroys them. Their whole entire narrative is unraveling. You're seeing the end of the establishment play out right before your very eyes. Right before your very eyes. What you're watching now is theater. These people are already done. They've been done. As I stated before, this is my view. All this is playing out to capture that giant middle that are on the fence or not really sure what's going on. They don't know. They're not red pilled. They don't know. They think that what's on the TV and CNN and MSNBC and everything is true. There's still a lot of those people out there. There's still probably people that watch Fox News, even though Fox News that are conservatives that are good people, even though Fox News sort of stuck it to Donald Trump there by announcing I think Arizona was over before it was. We found out that Fox News now is sort of basically CNN with a sort of a conservative, a little bit of a conservative touch. Some of the guests on Fox News, they're far from conservative. When they hired Donna Brazile, that should have been a wake-up call to everyone to tune that station out. Now we find out Seth Rich. Now we find out, you heard that his name's come up in the news recently, haven't you? That's a whole line of Matt Couch. If you go on, I think Matt's got a YouTube channel, or on Twitter. We follow each other on Twitter. I don't remember his name. It's Matt Couch is his name. He's been doing a lot of Seth Rich stuff for a long time. But you hear Seth Rich now coming out in the news. Now they're talking about, you're hearing Julian Assange's name and Snowden's name coming out in the news, right? All this stuff is starting to come to the surface. All this stuff is in preparation for what's about to come. People say, are you nervous? Are you worried about it? Not at all. Not at all. Calm as a cucumber. Not worried about it at all. Just trying to get all the information in and making sure that I don't miss anything or get, duped by misinformation. But I try to take a 30,000-foot view on things. And I would humbly submit that may not be a bad thing for you either, because you're in it every day. You're bombarded with it every day. And every time a news comes up and you're disappointed here and you're excited about this. And I know, I get it. This is like an unbelievable time to be alive, like no other. However, I would humbly submit, again, try to step back and take a view of the whole entire picture, and look what this man over my shoulder here has went through for the last 4 years, and how he's vanquished every one of these charges against him every single time he's defeated these people. He steps ahead of them. He outsmarted them, and he steps ahead of them now. Steps ahead of them. Right? What's going to happen? I mean, the whole server thing in Germany and the recording of the stealing, and they have the video. And, I mean, they can't get away from this now. They can't get away. Why hasn't Kamala Harris resigned from the Senate still? She hasn't resigned from the Senate. I mean, come on. They're certifying the votes today, apparently. And she hasn't resigned from the Senate. She hasn't resigned from the Senate yet? Again, this stuff is out in the open. This stuff is like right out in the open. We just sometimes have this cognitive dissonance that we just don't connect the two. Again, is there any wonder now? If you look at all the Chinese influence now in our Congress, now do you understand? I've brought up on this show before a dozen times. How does somebody making $175,000 a year end up being worth $48 million? In 7 years or 10 years, whatever it is. Just the math just doesn't add up. They just do the math. 175,000 times 10 doesn't equal 46 million. Okay, it doesn't. I don't know exactly the number, but it doesn't equal that. But that's been out in the open, right out in the open forever. ever. All these people go to Congress, go to Washington, D.C. to serve the folks, and they all end up being multimillionaires. And I don't know why that hasn't even, why aren't people demanding answers? No one listens to me. I mean, they don't listen to me, but I've been demanding answers for a long time. Explain to me how you became so wealthy as a public servant. That's because they're just obvious now, right? It's obvious now because they're getting paid off by the Chinese. They've infiltrated everything, every level of government. So this week, I believe is going to be quite a week. I believe we're going to have, you're just seeing the information's come out right now. And again, it's been now probably an hour or 2 hours since I've actually been able to really take a look at the news. And, that's like a lifetime these days. So there could be some other breaking news that I'm not even aware of right now. I know they came out with some information on that Michigan vote. They may have decertified the whole thing for all I know. I've been on the show here and getting prepped, but it's a matter of time. It's coming. All of this fraud is going to be exposed. And there's going to be, I think we're on the cusp of a change in this world. Take a look around to what's going on here. Take a look around, take an assessment of the world that we live in now. Take a close look at things, because soon it will never be the same again. It will never be the same again, ever. Ever. It's already not, right? There is no new normal. There is no new normal yet, right? I hate that word. Everybody say, what's the new normal? There is no new normal that's even been established yet, because things are still, you were in a boat and the waves are still, and the boat's still going like this, right? It's just like that. And it's not stopping. There's no leveling off where the waves stop. Okay. Whew. All right. Nope. None of that. There's no new normal, because this is going on all the time, day in and day out. Right. And people are, it's designed that way, right? It's designed because they still own the media. It's designed to discourage you. It's designed to get you to want to quit. It's designed to get you to go, I just can't mentally put up with this anymore. I'm just whatever, don't fall back into that. Don't fall back into that. Understand the importance of the fight that we're in right now. It literally is the battle for everything. And if you've watched my show before, you've heard me make this statement. We're at a crossroads right now in civilization. One path leads to freedom and liberty and a world free of tyranny like you would never, ever imagined. And the other path leads to the deepest, darkest tyranny that you probably can't even think of in your mind if you sat down and spent time doing it. That's where we're at right now. Okay? It's time to be a participant. It's time to be a participant. It's very easy to sit behind a keyboard. It's very easy to make comments. It's very easy to watch Tucker Carlson, that he's all angry, and you watch Tucker Carlson. That's right, Tucker, he's telling him. And then you don't do anything because you think Tucker's got it handled. Or whoever, Glenn Beck. Well, he's saying exactly how I feel, so that's good enough for me. That can't be good enough anymore. That can't be good enough. And look, and people responded on this weekend. There were, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people that showed up this weekend in D.C. for that march, for the Stop the Steal march. That's a fraction of the people that, if Trump called all of the supporters there, that's a fraction of millions and millions would show up. We're an overwhelming force. We're unstoppable. We're an unstoppable army. We are. We're an unstoppable army. We just have to stand up and be counted. That'd be my advice to you today. Stand up and be counted. This is the battle for the republic. People have lived their entire lives and never, ever, ever, ever even came close to being involved in something that is as historic and really monumental as this event that we're going through right now. Have your children keep a close eye on things, because we're living through history, day to day, every day, every day, every day. It's going to be generations from now, they're going to ask, what happened during the Great Awakening? Tell us again. Tell us one more time everything that happened during the Great Awakening. And that's where I think we're at right now, folks. I don't think anybody needs to be down. I don't think anybody needs to be nervous. You need to be alert. You need to be aware of what's going on, right? You need to use discernment and wisdom, but you don't need to have fear. You don't need to have fear. Fear paralyzes you. Okay, fear paralyzes you. That's the last thing you need to do right now, is to be paralyzed. That's what they want. They want you to be paralyzed. They want you sitting in a corner, afraid to move, while they come in and take over. These are the times that try men's souls. Step up. You have it in you. All you have to do is just apply it. That's all I've got for today. I appreciate you looking in to the show. You can support me by going to montanadailygazette.com, montanadailygazette.com, or northwestlibertynews.com. If you want to support this program, that'd be great. If not, support other alternative news stations, because we're the only ones that are slinging truth. And again, folks, I may get things wrong. I don't have, like I said, I'm not in the meetings. This is just an analysis from what I think, from what I see, from what I study daily. I don't think it's right now a time to be fearful. I think it's a time to join together and let's take back this republic, because it's within our grasp. Probably no time in our lifetimes has we been closer and more able to take the republic back from the satanic forces, literally, that have taken it over. We're never going to be this close again. Never. We have to, everybody stand up, everybody join together, meet up with your neighbor. Let's take this country back. Appreciate you looking in. Please share the video if you can. We appreciate that. Hit the like button. And join me. I'm going to try to get back later on. Today, I got a lot going on. I will have some food specials, as I said, some storable food, some nice discounts with free shipping for large food packages. I'll have that hopefully in the next couple of days. Appreciate all your support. Thanks for looking in. Until next time, this is James White from Montana Gazette Radio saying bye now.